So Tantra includes teachings on what it refers to as the four goals of life. And these are in the Sanskrit first. I'll tell you it's Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And what these relate to, Dharma is usually translated as truth or purpose. It's oftentimes in our human experience connected to the work that we do in the world, the career, but it's having some sense of purpose and meaning in our life, in our experience. And Artha is the second goal of life. It is connected to material wealth, to abundance, to material resources, to stability. Kama, you may have heard of the Kama Sutra. Kama references pleasure and enjoyment. And so this also includes, in addition to sexuality and relationships, it includes just the enjoyment of life, social connections, entertainment, travel, good food, the things that just make life enjoyable to us. And then the fourth goal of life is moksha. And that is considered to be ultimately the highest of the goals. It is the increase of self-knowledge or liberation, this is where the pursuit of spiritual awakening actually comes from, the returning to our true nature, our true higher self. So of these four goals, the teachings do tell us that moksha, that final one of rediscovering our true self, of spiritual awakening, is the most important of these goals. But it acknowledges the importance of the first three, of Dharma, Artha, and Kama, or purpose, wealth and abundance, and our experiences of enjoyment in the world. And the teaching around this is to understand that we really need to be able to harmonize and enjoy our human experience, enjoy our life fully, because if we don't, then the suffering that arises from not enjoying it, or the potential suffering that arises, actually becomes a distraction to the deeper goal of spiritual awakening. If we're constantly wondering how we're going to pay our rent, or having health problems, or feeling hopeless and purposeless, and not enjoying life, and not having real connections, and feeling loved and accepted, then we're not going to probably be motivated to be able to sit down in meditation and really allow ourselves to deeply connect with something beyond that, because we're still focused on, like, how do I find these basic happinesses? How do I find these basic needs? And so there is this sense of something lacking that happens if we don't have those areas of our life really harmonized. And so the understanding here is then that they are valid goals of life, and therefore the pursuit of finding purpose and having a successful career that allows us to feel some sense of purpose and meaning and motivation in life. And from that work that we do in the world, we hopefully earn some money. And so we have some wealth that comes our way that allows us to hopefully create some stability, to feel safe and secure in the world, to also have, some basic material needs, house to live, roof to live under, those kinds of things. And then from that, we also are able to use that money to enjoy the world as well, to be able to travel and have nice food and entertain ourselves. And then, of course, we also feel comfortable to connect to other people and enjoy relationships and sexual experiences. And so they kind of build on each other. And when we allow there to be a fullness in our life, in those areas of life, then it actually aids our spiritual awakening process when we understand it correctly. So harmonizing and creating a balance and fulfilling world experience stabilizes and supports our spiritual path. It reduces distractions of unmet needs, and it helps us heal judgments, shame, and guilt. And so, as sort of a reminder of that, what I was talking about, of how it might distract us, there's a quote that is attributed to Buddha. And the quote is, you cannot teach a starving man to meditate. And it points back to that if our basic human needs are not met, then our mind is going to be disturbed. We're going to be distracted. We're not going to be able to focus on an experience of our deeper self, because we're going to be wondering where our next meal comes from. So all of our experiences that we have ultimately arise as reflections of our unique karmic patterns. And in other classes that I've done, I've talked a lot about karma, but Karma, we can think of in a general sense as being a general law of cause and effect, and actions that we've done in the past tend to resprout in the current moment. And it's not a system of punishment and reward. It's just, I think of them kind of as seeds that just sprout. We do something, it's sort of like a flower, it sort of throws off seeds that are similar to the action that we did, and then they resprout in the right environment. And so when we're looking at our relationship to healing on the spiritual path, there's oftentimes discussions around healing and purifying karma. And so as part of that process, we also, when we're focusing on healing, tend to associate karma with the struggles, the challenges that we have, like the emotional wounds, the traumas, the self-defeating habits that we have. And so it's kind of easy sometimes to have this assumption that we mostly focus on clearing out and removing our painful karmas. But the reality of karma is that it actually is influencing all of our actions and all of our experiences. So our karma also culminates as our talents and our skills and our interests and our desires. And so in the same way that I have taught, how to clear and heal negative karmas through deeper awareness and acceptance and the willingness to experience them fully, this same principle actually applies to our desires and our passions, our goals and our hopes and our dreams. And so when we repress or dismiss these aspects of our human enjoyment, or the unique passions that we have, the goals, the dreams that we have, or our unique skills and gifts, we are avoiding being fully present to our karma. And in order for us to clear our karma, to process it, we have to be able to just sit with it and be with it in the right frame of consciousness. And so if we're avoiding our desires and our hopes and our dreams, then we can't process them through awareness. We can't integrate them. And so they remain unexpressed. And we may not be able to become free from them and integrated into our true self. So when we approach this with tantric awareness, we dive deep into our desires, our hopes, our dreams, and we fully accept, allowing ourselves to fully process the karma. And by exploring and even experiencing these karmas, we become more whole, and it supports our process of transformation and spiritual awakening. But we do need to do this with the mindfulness of the process and tantric awareness.